Hey everyone, Z-Slayer Dre here, and we have a few things to go over today, but they all relate to one thing: Sony's anti-consumer practices leading up to the next generation. At a time when Microsoft is seemingly going all in on pro-consumer moves, Sony continues to drag their feet at every turn and makes one mistake after another. The PlayStation 5 launch will go down as one of the worst console launches in history, and even sitting out around 5 weeks from launch, we still don't even know some of the basic functions of the PS5, but Sony will gladly take your money for a pre-order regardless. While there are quite a few issues we could go over, I do want to focus on the topic of backwards compatibility, or rather lack thereof in some cases. At time of writing, we still do not know exactly how the backwards compatibility will work on the PS5, and while Sony has given some information, it has all either been very vague or conflicting, leading to a lot of people being confused about how the backwards compatibility will actually work. I do have to say, the one feature I was looking forward to the most was the backwards compatibility, because I have a large backlog, and some games are barely functional even on the PS4 Pro, so it would be really nice to be able to play them at a stable 60 FPS. In some cases, I would even settle for 30 because the PS4 Pro can't even handle that. If you watched my previous videos, you know that I'm a trophy hunter, and this does seem to be a big selling point for that community, and it's a huge disappointment that Sony has been so quiet on the issue. Not to mention, unlike its competition, whatever backwards compatibility we get on PS5 will only go back to the PS4, not multiple generations like the Xbox Series X. Speaking of the new Xbox, they actually have come out with firm details on their backwards compatibility details, and even have given some outlets like Digital Foundry a hands-on look at the feature, and it looks amazing. Older games will get a big FPS and resolution boost, and it does seem like a good deal of games will be running at 4K 60 FPS, which is just incredible. Not to mention, they even went in and added an HDR reconstruction technique that will allow people with HDR TVs and monitors to experience backwards compatible games in HDR going all the way back to original Xbox games. Sounds amazing. Personally, it's not a huge selling point to me over the higher frame rates, but it's still an amazing feat. What does Sony have to offer in response? Recharging you for games you already own? That's what? Yeah, sadly, some would say predictably, not only has Sony raised their prices for the next generation games, they are also making people buy games they already own in some cases to get the PS5 version. The latest anti-consumer controversy surrounding Sony is the fact that Spider-Man PlayStation 4 owners will have to rebuy the game they already own to play the PS5 version. Oh, sorry, I misspoke. They actually have to buy a special edition of DLC being spinned as a full game for $70 to get the PS5 version of a game they already own. That's right, there's no direct way to buy the Spider-Man PlayStation 5 version. You must buy the special edition of Spider-Man Miles Morales for $70 to get the PlayStation 5 version. They did say that Spider-Man PS4 owners will be able to play the launch version of Spider-Man on PS5, which means... well, I have no idea. What the hell does that mean? Does that mean you can only simply play the same version of Spider-Man on PS5 as PS4 and not be able to use any of the extra horsepower of the new console that you bought for $500 to improve frame rate or resolution? I know Sony is one of the greatest AAA game developers, but seriously, even for them, this is insane. As expected, people are outraged, and rightfully so, but Sony will not budge from their anti-consumer practices. Given the abysmal state of the PS5 launch, all Sony has going for the PS5 is the exclusives, and it's debatable how worth it they are. So they are screwing over all their fans as much as possible while they can. The exclusives was the only thing Sony had going for it over the Xbox, and now with the Bethesda acquisition, in a few years' time Sony might be feeling some really intense pressure from Microsoft. As I said earlier, the thing I was looking forward to the most about the PS5 was the backwards compatibility due to my huge backlog. I think a lot of people are in the same boat, which makes them stuck in Sony's ecosystem. Like me, even if they see the Xbox Series X is considerably better than the PS5, they will likely still go with the PS5 because of their backlog and not wanting to let go of all the games they've already purchased and have to start over on a new system. Now, given how horrible Sony has been, I do think some people will just buy an Xbox and maybe keep around the PS4, and honestly, I would do the same if I wasn't upgrading my PC where I can play all the Xbox games also. Like I said in an earlier video, the PlayStation 5 will still sell very well, and most likely will win the generation, but it's going to be by slimmer margins than the last generation. Since the popularity of gaming in general is going up, the total amount of game consoles sold will likely go up, so we might see similar PS5 sales numbers compared to the PS4, but the Xbox Series whatever will sell much more than the previous one. And also, we may have the 4K Switch coming out next year, and that might have some success, although Nintendo might be even worse than Sony and will likely alienate a large portion of their audience as well, so it might not sell as well as the base Switch. Which comes to the worst part about the anti-consumer practices. It's bad for gaming in general. Given the state of the world right now, so many more people are getting into gaming or rediscovering it again, and with these companies treating their customers like trash, these people who potentially could become hardcore gamers in the future might drop the hobby entirely because they don't want to be put up with being treated like a piece of meat. This isn't Sony's first rodeo. This should be second nature at this point, but they continue to stumble at every step while Microsoft blasts past every marker in the race. I think this is an issue with Sony's leadership. They simply don't care about their product and they just want to make money. Which is fine, you can make money, but that doesn't mean you have to put out a bad product and screw over your customers. In fact, you can actually make more money putting out an amazing product and treating your customers with respect. But, and this is a discussion for another video, you can't manufacture and corporatize entertainment. It simply doesn't work. It's a problem in more industries than video games, but right now it's destroying gaming as we know it. I do hope Sony changes its anti-consumer ways, but it's highly unlikely. I've been saying this video after video, it just keeps getting worse and worse. I have a huge backlog on my PS4, so I'll be working on that, but going forward, I'm just sticking to getting games on PC and Switch exclusives for reviews. The only reason at this point I even want a PS5 is to review games for my channel, which is a really poor reason to buy a console, but what other choice do I have? I'll get one eventually, but I'm not going to be refreshing my browser constantly hoping I get a pre-order, although that's not even a guarantee because some pre-orders are being delayed to 2021 or being cancelled outright. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on Sony forcing people to rebuy a game they already own to play it on PS5 and how you feel about Sony's moves this upcoming generation down in the comments below. I'm also curious if anyone has been a longtime PlayStation fan that is moving over to the Series S or X next generation, or if you're doing what I am doing and buying a new PC. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.